A young surfer dies today and Barbados feels effects of the powerful Hurricane Irma. These are the stories we're tracking in your Barbados Today evening news update for Tuesday, September 5. So glad you can join us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Tragedy struck on the island's east coast today as a budding young surfer died after surfing at a notoriously shallow wave at Cattle Wash, St. Joseph. 16-year-old Xander Venecia died after reportedly sustaining a broken neck after he slammed into a reef. He was pulled from the water and rushed to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. U.S. visitor Sean Latino, who was among the first persons to rush to the assistance of the teenager, recounted how the incident unfolded.
We're surfing this secret spot north of here. It's a heavy wave, it's a slabby wave, it's not really a safe wave. It's a wave that just mostly the locals know. But I have some friends that are professional surfers, they turned me on to it. And we were all surfing, having the best times of our lives, man. Getting the best waves you could possibly imagine. And one of the young kids, he caught a wave, he rode it to the inside, and when he was paddling back outside, I guess a big set came and picked him up and just threw him over the falls, and his head hit the reef. He got knocked out. Actually, a kid that I know from New York who I watched grow up, he's a pro surfer, very good kid. His name is Balaram. He was the first responder in the water. He actually took the kid, put him on his board, and started doing CPR on him, so all the power to him. Balaram Stack, he was the first guy to actually try to save this kid's life. He was in the water, and then there was quite a few of us. I don't remember the rest of the names, but then I went over there too, and I took over in the water too as we were all trying to paddle him in. I mean, try to imagine paddling in a kid doing CPR, and the surf is like 8 to 10 feet and grinding on a shallow reef. Very dangerous, but about 8 or 9 or 10 of us together, worked together, you know. We brought this kid in, we took turns doing CPR with him, and you know, we tried our best.
Six-time national surfing champion Mark Holder, who also attempted to rescue Venecia from the rough waters, told Barbados Today the surfing community is both distraught and shocked by the incident, while stressing that the tragic death of Venecia had absolutely nothing to do with his skill level, since the young man was ranked among the best on the island. Holder said the shallow area known as the box by box is hazardous.
That wave only breaks when it's like you have like hurricane swells and it's like comes in a different direction. So that swell breaks like maybe once in a blue moon. So when it's breaking, guys go there because it's a beautiful wave, you know, but it's pretty dangerous. But for my 49 years living in Barbados, I never surfed that break yet. I always surf right here, Soup Bowls. Right. This is my favorite break. And I surf Pearl, I surf around the island, Brandon, surf the west coast, you know. But I never surfed that break. That break is pretty dangerous. But you know what, guys, there was a lot of international guys here. The media is here. Everybody's out there looking to get that shot, maybe a cover shot for the magazine. You know, I mean, everybody wants to get in the video. And everybody was there this morning just trying to get that perfect wave.
Forecasters have described Hurricane Irma as a monster storm, and today Barbados got a glimpse of its strength. In St. David's Christchurch, 68-year-old retiree Patsy Trotman lost the roof to a wooden home this morning. Her daughter, Betty Trotman, said no one was at home at the time of the incident, but the family is in shock.
When I came, my mom was really distraught. She was crying. Nothing we said could get my mom to stop crying. Nobody wants to be in a condition like this in 2017. It's really hard on my mom because she's a pensioner. She's also a diabetic, so we have to be very careful with my mom. My mom also, we also have a nephew who's autistic who lives with my mom, so we are in desperate need.
Senator David Durand, who was present at the scene, offered support to the family. He said with an increasing number of elderly persons being directly impacted by natural disasters, a task force is desperately needed to tackle issues related to housing for the elderly.
We need to have a task force put together to deal with elderly housing, because there are quite a number of elderly people whose homes are in need of repair. Their homes are really in dire need of repair. And this is just another one. All right, and there are a number of others. So definitely we need a task force that will specifically deal with this.
Hurricane Irma also triggered a dramatic change in sea conditions across the island. In the city, sea swells drenched the boardwalk, forcing authorities to close off the wharf road temporarily. Operators also had difficulty getting their boats to safety. Take a look at how this crew battled against the rising swells. At 3 p.m., the Barbados Meteorological Office issued a high surf advisory and a small craft warning for the island. It warned that the system was generating large easterly to southeasterly swells, which were propagating in an easterly direction. The forecasters cautioned that waves between 11 to 13 feet could affect the coastal waters, particularly on the western, southwestern, and northwestern sides of the island tonight into tomorrow. The Met Office added that large battering waves and dangerous rip currents can be expected and will create dangerous waves. Now, across the Leeward Islands, residents battened down as some reported early effects of the superstorm. A state of emergency was declared in Antigua and Barbuda as the Caribbean island prepares for what is expected to be a severe lashing from Hurricane Irma. Journalist Anika Kentish is in the capital, St. John's, and she says there is a sense of unease across the country as Antiguans and Barbudans get ready to sit out the system.
We are dealing with something that we have never had to deal with before, and that is basically a mega storm coming. Now, we've had our share of hurricanes, big ones, small ones, tropical storms, but this one is new to all of us in terms of not just it being a Category 5, but just the fact that just the winds alone are in excess of 185 miles per hour. So a lot of people are very tense when you walk around St. John's earlier today. You know, a lot of people are uneasy about what's happening. People are fearful. And at this point, everyone's just going to sit and wait it out and see what happens.
Kentish says there has been no mad rush to the hardware store and supermarkets, noting that most residents have been on high alert since Irma made her dash across the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes, there were people out at the last minute, but when you enter the grocery stores, what you saw, grocery stores were delivered through water. We saw a lot of people in the islands just today, just yesterday, you know, for the past 5 or 6 days. A lot of stores, hardware stores, reported brisk business for the past few days. So people have been coming in. I think the fact that we knew very early that this was going to be a serious storm, even if we didn't know it was going to get to Cat 5 level at that time, we knew it was going to be a serious storm, and the Met officials and the disaster services officials made it very clear early out that this was going to be a serious storm, and that more than likely it was going to head our way. And as it turns out, either way you look at it, regardless of which way it shifts, we are going to be in for a long night with a lot of rain and a lot of heavy rain.
Over in the Bahamas, the government has announced plans to evacuate residents in the Southeast Islands, including Antigua and Barbuda. Prime Minister Hubert Minnis is preparing to outline the details at a press briefing later this evening. On Irma's current track, residents in the southern Bahamas are expected to feel the effects of the hurricane by Thursday. Dr. Minnis has urged Bahamians to be ready.
Let me emphasize at the outset that Hurricane Irma may pose a direct and serious threat to the Bahamas.
In the Turks and Caicos Islands, authorities pleaded with residents to take the Category 5 hurricane seriously. Premier Charlene Cartwright Robinson said the island is hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. Interests in Anguilla, the Dominican Republic, are also on high alert for the system. And even before the Leeward Islands feel the full impact of Hurricane Irma, Tropical storm number 10 formed today. Forecasters have advised the Leeward to monitor the storm, which is expected to strengthen in the coming days. At 5 p.m., Jose was located at latitude 12.5 degrees north and longitude 40.6 degrees west, or 1,400 miles east of the Lesser Antilles. It is packing winds of 45 miles per hour.
Good morning, Phillips & Company, may I help? Oh, certainly. One moment, please. Miss Phillips?
Yeah?
There's a lady on the line from the Nation newspaper who would like to speak with you.
The Nation? Will she go on?
Well, they're trying to sell us some ads.
Look, don't make me laugh this morning. Ads in the Nation? They're real expensive, and for one year, nobody ain't buying them papers no more. Nobody want to steal news. I hear reading Barbados today online for free. So I tell she thanks for calling, but no thanks. We just advertising Barbados Today, families. Tell she is Barbados Today all the way.
Okay, I'll pass on the message. Ma'am, are you still there? Oh, she put down.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back. In other news this Tuesday, a reoccurring sewage problem in a section of Old Town St. James is creating a stink in the area and proving to be a major headache for some business operators there. Owner of the Surfside Restaurant and Bar, Michael Henry, is complaining that a sewage system located on the property of the Old Town Post Office has been overflowing for some time now. Henry says the foul stench associated with the leakage is having a negative impact on his business, and he fears it could get worse. The businessman, who has been in the area for more than 3 decades, tells Barbados Today his calls to the Ministry of Health to rectify the problem seem to be falling on deaf ears, and he fears that if not addressed quickly, it could result in a major health problem and become a breeding ground for mosquitoes.
I'm losing business. I talked to the Ministry of Health. They're looking into it, they said. I keep calling them and they said they can't do anything about it. If it was me, right, let it water on the sand, they would close me already, right? I said, it's coming up now on the other side here now by the police station gate, and it's even given a worse order now coming out. And when people come into the restaurant now, they're turning back, because when they get to this section down here, right, you come up for dinner, you've got your nice shoes, your nice clothes. You don't want to be walking in smelly water, right? And for the last year now, they used to send a truck to pump off, and then but every 3 weeks it reoccur.
In sports, Hero Caribbean Premier League is reviewing the no ball bowled by Kieran Pollard at the end of Sunday's match between Barbados Tridents and the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots at Kensington Oval. In a release this afternoon, Hero CPL said it's very concerned by suggestions that the action of a player could be considered to have brought the game or the league into disrepute. Pollard, the Tridents captain, bowled a big no ball when opposition batsman Evan Lewis was on 97 of 32 balls, with St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots needing 1 run to beat Barbados Tridents in the 2020 competition. The no ball gave 25-year-old Lewis's side the win, but saw him miss out on the chance of a ton after he and captain Chris Galeridge won 29 for naught. The move has been criticized by cricket fans who suggest that it was deliberate. Hero CPL underscored the importance of fair play and good sportsmanship. On the international scene, the Trump administration today formally announced the end of the DACA, a program that had protected nearly 800,000 young undocumented immigrants brought to the U.S. as children from deportation. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders addressed the media shortly after the decision was made.
This morning, faced with the very real possibility of a potential immediate shutdown of the entire DACA program by a federal court, President Trump took the responsible and constitutional step of announcing that the administration will be phasing out the program over the next 2 years. Today's September 5th deadline was set by the plaintiffs presenting the administration with 2 and only 2 real options to choose from: the likely sudden cancellation of the program by a judge, or an orderly wind down that preserves the rule of law and returns the question to the legislative branch where it belongs.
And that's news. But for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and also like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals and screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And don't forget, Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.